I've just played a game that your favorite YouTubers may have sponsored on their channels. You may know the game. It is called Call of Dragons. And of course, some of my favorite YouTubers sponsored the game as well.
Today's topic is Call of Dragons, a 4X fantasy strategy conquest game. It has MMORPG elements like exploring and tons of possibilities.
Like what?
Like recruit elven maidens, mighty orcs, powerful frost mages, and magic heroes.
Why?
To conquer
Conquer what?
the world.
So I decided to check it out. But of course, you shouldn't be listening to some schmo on the internet when it comes to games like these. So I think you should listen to this schmo on the internet because he knows what he's talking about and he's gonna go through the hell for you. And I have to say this is not a sponsored video. I legit went online, downloaded Call of Dragons out of my own curiosity. And because some schmo on the internet told me to. So no, I'm not getting paid for this, but if you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribing works as a tip and sticking around for most of the video will serve as my payment. But with that being said, let's begin. Okay, so the first thing every person with no integrity has to do is download this game, and since it's advertised that it's not just on mobile but on PC too, I decided to go the way of Diablo Immortal.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Questioning why it wasn't on PC first instead of mobile, slapping my forehead knowing, oh yeah, I get it, I know what this game is for, then downloading the PC version because, you know, I hate myself. I can give credit where credit's due. They didn't sit there saying it's only on mobile. They brought this bitch to PC as well. So I download Call of Dragons on PC, and for some reason my PC seems to be going slower. And by that I mean YouTube, Twitch, anything that involves a video, everything started lagging and slowing down. My computer was kinda getting jacked up in terms of frames when it came to videos, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on since I have a top of the line GeForce graphics card and I have a CPU that's a Ryzen 9, so I have no idea what's happening. So I decided to see if the game had an anti-cheat in it, specifically de novo. It does not have de novo. What I think is probably going on here is that the game is so big that it's using a lot of resources in your computer. Since there is no instances, there's no load time, it's just one big map. And I shall say this right now, it is an MMORTS. That means you're sharing the world with other people. It also has 4K resolution, which okay. Alright, so after downloading and installing the game, we are graced with a cinematic of the most generic features. We are told of a land that is being fought over by a few factions as we see 3 figures fight each other in the distance. After what seems to be a draw between the 3, except for the human guy, he lost his stick, fire starts falling from the sky, crashing into everything on the land. This event also awakened a 4th faction called the Darklings. That's a very original name there. I swear, it's like all the creatively bankrupt games have something to do with darkness with their story.
Supreme darkness!
So, instead of fighting each other, the trio turned their attention to the dark forces that are popping out of the ground. Here's your stick back. The trio go into battle, and the next scene, I have to choose one of 3 factions. So what we have here is, whoa. Okay, well, that's some sort of character design. I mean, it's not all that bad, but the mage guy looks like he's sucking in the biggest gut I have ever seen in my life. The elf has no figure, there's no muscle, it's just a stick. And this guy's just a meat patty. Where's his stomach? I know video games are supposed to have their own character designs, but this is something. Anyway, once you choose one of your disproportionate inaccurate factions, you are sent out into the world at a random location. And this is something I do like. You are sent somewhere random and share a whole world with all other players, which means unless it's a special instance location, there is no load times at all. Especially seeing how this is a free-to-play RTS strategy game with a hint of Clash of Clans. Now, why do I refer to Clash of Clans when talking about Call of Dragons? Well, we'll get there. Okay, so now we start up the game and okay. Well, we're back to the character designs here. Those big lips, those eyes, just not half bad. She's supposed to be your helper throughout the entirety of the game, and she's going to help you through the tutorial. Those tutorials being building, upgrading, training, summoning, equipping, collecting, lots of collecting. Like, no, seriously, there's a whole bunch of collecting that you're going to be doing. Like, more than anything, you're just going to be collecting a whole lot of shit. As you may know, this is a free-to-play mobile to PC game, and thus this game will throw ads at you like how Colleen Ballinger threw her career under the bus, with kids still in it.
A lot of people are saying some things about me that aren't quite true.
I just love how free-to-play games like to justify its ads-in-your-face nature with, it's a free game. Listen, man, people pay for television, and you still get ads for that. It's called commercials. And honestly, the flood of rewards you get from just breathing takes the fun away from getting any reward. You honestly get rewarded for every single thing you do. From logging in to just checking the status of things, from moving out of your base and looking around, for scouting, for fighting, for just about damn near anything. You just get a whole bunch of rewards for nothing. And we know the play here is get rewarded a lot for every little thing you do so that you have an incentive to play the game. But unfortunately, because you're getting rewarded for so many things, you are hardly playing what it's supposed to be, which is an RTS. But you know, I'm just not a fan of free-to-play games, which makes me question why I'm even playing this game. Oh right, content. But hey, if Fairlight wants to pay me for an actual sponsorship, I'd be willing to play the game for much longer with less pessimism and less sarcasm. No, you're still gonna get the sarcasm. You just won't catch me dead buying one of these things that pop up every time you summon an epic or a legendary. I mean, yeah, I get it, I got lucky, but I'm not going to pay any more money to you. Stop doing this. Listen, I placed $5 in a slot machine once, then I lost $40 to it, after winning $67 back. It was a penny machine, okay? You're gonna win in some form or fashion, probably very small, $20 back or something, and I was on vacation, and I had a lot of time. And I was given the money. Look, the point is just be warned, alright? Once you start, it's like Pringles. Once you pop, the fun don't stop.
Guide me toward the light.
But moving past that, here I am in the northern tundra of the Forgotten Lands. Nothing but snow, rivers, and mountains as far as the mist will allow it. And as all games with fogs of war, we need to find ways of dispersing the fog to get a layout of the land. However, the main question here is, what the hell am I actually doing here? So far, your main objective is to defeat the Darklings, and the only way you're doing that is by building up your stronghold, upgrading your buildings, upgrading your forces, defeating behemoths, and allying with other players. And you may have already guessed this, but this game has PvP. You mainly participate in this through wars with your alliance against another alliance, or allying with another alliance to go against another group of alliances. This game's version of guilds. And joining one is heavily advised if it's not one of the tutorials telling you, it's one of the side quests that literally tells you to join an alliance. You do get advantages while you're in one, more rewards, a place to retreat to in terms of land so that you're safely around allies, and most of all, they help you build. I mean, to all that's worth, every time someone helps you, it just takes a minute off whatever they help you build. And I'm not even sure if it's a full minute. I've had 40 people help me with a building once, and it only went down like 10 minutes. Building new structures in this game is exactly like Clash of Clans or any RTS. You build the thing at a location, you wait for it to be finished, you go back to it after it's finished, and you hit the upgrade button to wait for it to be finished again. This is the game experience here. You wait for buildings to be finished, soldiers to be trained, research to be researched, and the availability of free chests, because yes, it has gacha in it too.
Guide me toward the light.
You do get keys if you want to just open chests and books if you don't want to wait for the timer to reset, and these keys open up chests to get resources while also opening books to get artifacts, equipable items that you use during combat with heroes. Oh, and you summon heroes from chests too, ranging from elite to epic to legendary, and every time you get an epic or legendary, you always get a pop-up ad that says, hey, you want more? The heroes are characters that act as leaders for your soldiers. You have a number of soldiers that act as health as you make a group of them to make a party so that you can send them out into the world. Heroes have different abilities and talents that can change the outcome of a battle. The abilities go off via their star gauge. Once it's full, they unleash a skill to do whatever the effect entails. You not only use them out in the world for fighting, but also instances like this one, helping taking down behemoths and raids with your alliance. They also act as gatherers for resource locations. The only unfortunate thing is that in the beginning, you can only send out 2 units. Yeah, sure, you can send out however many scouts you have available, but fighting units are limited at the very beginning. It's like they want you to hurry yourselves up with the upgrades, so they provide you with speed boosters. Speed boosters rush the upgrading of your buildings and the training of your soldiers. You can either take 2 or 3 hours to train a soldier or 4 hours to upgrade a building, or you can just get it done instantly. And as far as I can tell, after entering an alliance, you start doing the same routine, upgrading, scouting, fighting, and the story, which you should do if you want more rewards. And I do have to say this, I've never participated in any raid or PvP event. As far as I can tell, it's for resources, and part of those resources are speed boosters, which helps you upgrade faster. And when you're not doing anything, sometimes the heroes have something to talk with you about. I mean, when you get a hero, they offer you a gift when you talk to them, and afterwards they just strike random conversations whenever they want, but honestly, it's not even part of the main narrative. Most of their conversations are kind of benign, like they talk about a random kid here, somebody you don't know there, like they pull up random names out of nothing and you're like, who's that? And your character is just like, oh okay, yeah, I know that person, right. Oh, and if you've pulled the 3 main heroes, the orc, the human, and the elf from the cinematics, they actually have a group conversation with one another. But for the most part, you're putting up with their talking so that you can get free shit. After that, it's back to power leveling. But on occasions, a hero will have a story to follow. This can only be done if you raise their heart level. Just means that they like you, I guess. If you talk to them and you answer them correctly, you do gain a lot of points on that gauge, or you could just throw nectar at them. And much like other free-to-play games, you can level things up with items, experience books on the heroes, nectars for their trust, dust for artifacts and other duplicate artifacts to level up the artifacts even more, and heroes have crystals of themselves so you can level them up again over the level that you use the books for. So many freaking ways to level, Jesus. I mean, yeah, it's that kind of game. You don't just have a regular one-off leveling system. You have to grow everything, be it their stats, their companionship, and even the tower thing that I keep forgetting to level up. Yeah, I'm only talking about this tower thing because it's one of those upgradable buildings, but I keep forgetting that you can upgrade them because 1, it's off camera a lot, and 2, it needs more resources. Yeah, some buildings have separate resources that you need to upgrade them with, so unless you have those resources, you can't upgrade them. So I tend to forget about them. Yay me. Those towers, by the way, help you keep your city safe, much like in Clash of Clans, only that it's not a random thing. You have a whole world you can venture out to, and some Joe Schmo can come up to your castle and your town and say, you know what, I don't like you, I'm going to attack you now. Luckily, there is a shield system where you can put up a shield so that you cannot be attacked, but they last only for 8 to 12 hours. And while I speak of the world, the RTS style when it comes to exploring and fighting, it's not that bad. You discover towns, caves, and supplies while scouting, and the Behemoth's Den add to the sense of danger, while also having your forces walk through Darklings and enemy players and the bog monsters. Kind of takes away from the immersion. Yeah, and I forgot about the Behemoth's Dens. Those are the raids. You take those on with your alliance, and you have to occupy the space in order to charge in. Otherwise, some other alliance can take the dens. You can also start fights with other units if you want. Wouldn't advise it, since you get more rewards just from breathing. Honestly, the whole world is just one big old pinata. You never know what kind of reward you're going to get. But as things look good on the surface, I do have to emphasize on the things that do hold this game back. And it has everything to do with its free-to-play nature. So asking a non-question, why do you think so many YouTubers are promoting this game? It's the money. It's the money. It's obvious no YouTuber or content creator actually plays the game that they promote unless they are paid to play the game. And if they're just advertising it, yeah, they're not really playing the game. And much like Raid Shadow Legends or World of Tanks, this game will go into that category of, yeah, it's a game that's being promoted by other YouTubers, but no one's actually playing it. I'm curious though, how many of you guys are actually playing World of Tank or Raid Shadow Legends? There is a free-to-play section of YouTubers who do play these kinds of games, but I don't even see them playing this. I mean, there's a reason why I'm making a video like this, as promotions of this game is practically everywhere at this point. I wanted to show that the same scheme as another infamous game, Raid Shadow Legends, is basically doing the same thing. They're doing the same thing as Raid Shadow Legends.
This video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. This episode is sponsored by Rage: Shadow Legends.
Raid is a brand new free-to-play mobile RPG game with the most amazing storyline.
It's extremely immersive and one of the most ambitious games you're going to find on the smartphone. It can be compared with some of the biggest PC and console titles.
Raid Shadow Car Seat is a turn-based game with over 400 champions for you to nab and customize.
And apparently recently they've implemented crossplay so you can play on your mobile phone or on your computer.
So what are you waiting for? Go to that description box, click that link, and redeem your 50,000 silver and free epic champion.
C'est Axel, j'espère que vous allez bien. On est parti pour une deuxième vidéo sur le jeu Raid Shadow Legends.
Get a bunch of YouTubers and streamers to promote the game with what I can assume is a big paycheck. The influencers talk about the game and they wait and see who downloads. I, for one, cannot give a count on how many people downloaded the game as of yet, but I'm sure it's past the million at this point. I just can't really understand the people who are so down with playing this kind of game, let alone pay any kind of money for it. The free excuse does not work on me. If a company puts a free game out there, it's free. They get no charity from me, and if they want my money, put a price on it so I have a reason to keep playing instead of trying to coax me into paying for your 99-cent, $1.99 to $4.99 packs and bundles with fake-ass saving percentages next to the fucking price. That's some Diablo Immortal levels of bullshit. I do not like being taken for a whale who has money to burn. I do not nor care where you got this number from. It's fake as shit, and I'm tired of it. I've read too many psychology documents, I've seen these schemes, I've watched these videos, I've seen it happen. I've made a 2-hour review on Diablo Immortal, which I consider to be the worst of its kind. I'm just tired of these kinds of games, man. I mean, you all probably thought I was going to sing praise for this game, that it seems fun. Well, that's all it was, a game that seemed fun. Underneath the potential, it is yet another free-to-play game with loot box filled, battle pass having half-ass developed game to make a quick buck off of people who can't help themselves but feed their immediate satisfaction. And I'm more or less not even surprised that YouTubers and streamers are promoting this game. I can see the potential of it being fun as an RTS MMO or MMORTS or whatever it wants to call itself, but because of how it is and the potential pulls I see that it will try to capture players within its system, I just can't recommend it. I find games like these are just being made for profit, and I'm so tired of people just being okay with that. I'm tired of streamers feeding people dopamine through high-stakes money spending, which is indeed exciting to watch, but it encourages the viewers to start playing a lot of the time. And I'm tired of gamers spending money in games like these since it encourages other companies to develop more games like them since it just works. It's like when I showed my little cousin what a slot machine looked like and he instantly gravitated to it because he thought it was just another version of a video game. And don't get me wrong, the fun part of the game is there, but it's heavily tarnished by the system that pushes people into paying. Like, it gets on my nerves, man. How do you have a system that allows you to get a taste for everything and does so well at poking and prodding the thought of paying for building speed, training speed, chances for a loot box, and even having its own exclusive currency, gems? Yet again, the idea and gameplay isn't so bad, but the waiting is just a flashback to Clash of Clans, and the RTS structure is hardly something you even play in. Most of the time, you're collecting shit to upgrade. Fighting anything is but a means to an end. There are no massive amount of armies outside of Alliance raiding and Alliance versus Alliance PvP. It's nothing like StarCraft or Warcraft at all. Hell, at this point, I'd rather go back to Age of Mythology.
Well done. We should prepare ourselves for more attacks.
By the way, I used to play that game a lot. I even had the Titans expansion. Man, those were good times. And to harken this back to Clash of Clans, remember everything has a timer, and it gets longer and longer the more you upgrade, and the more incentive to buy speed boosters, whether through gems or just playing the game if you have the time to do so. Hell, my alliance wants me to play 2 hours a day, and I just don't have time to play 2 hours of a collecting game. I'm a man who has ADHD. I fall asleep real fast if I get bored. But listen, if you by any chance find this game, Call of Dragons, which has a surprising lack of dragons, to be a fun game to play, by all means, more power to you. Just don't buy anything. Today is not the day I expose free-to-play games, but I will give a warning. I'm gonna go back to the Pringles reference if you've ever seen those commercials.
Guide you toward the light.
Well, spending once is easy, 99 cents, but then you might be spending more and it might become a habit. This is a game that is not worth $10 in my opinion. It doesn't even need a sub fee to keep servers up like MMOs. And trust me, I know a lot of people like to compare free-to-play games with the live services of MMOs, and I will make a video on that one day. But to give it its credit, the early game is fun. The late game though, and those lips, and those eyes, and the meat patty body. So in conclusion, Call of Dragons is just like any other free-to-play game that spends money on influencers hoping to populate its game. The game itself looks nice, it taxes your computer at high graphics, it does the same trick to keep you playing like Clash of Clans does, giving you 1,000,001 tasks while not really playing the RTS portion, if you can call it that. My suggestion, skip this one, it ain't worth your time. There are so many other games out there that is worth your time, like Hall of Torment, inspired obviously by Vampire Survivor, but with more of a Diablo 1 feeling. If you want me to take a look at that game, let me know in the comments below. Now, if you excuse me, my alliance is calling for war, and I have a resignation letter to give. Stay healthy, and ciao.